Okay, all right. Let's get this thing started. I think some people are still working. Hey, babe, how's it going? Thanks for being the first person to join my workshop. Okay. All right, I think I'm recording over here too now. So for those of the folks who ain't around.
Gang, what's up?
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to be talking about a democracy-driven meeting.
Hey-ho!
How to get meetings done in a fun and fair way. So let's go with the first person in my audience, which is just my wife right now. And Nung Lee, of course. Okay. Let's see what people understand about democracy first off. Let's see. Uti, what is democracy?
It's freedom to say what your opinion.
Okay, that's kind of it. Let's go to Emil. What is democracy?
Democracy is, I guess it's term for political system.
Yes!
Okay. No?
Yes, it is.
Then everybody has the same right to say anything.
Yes, okay, very much so. All right, let's go to Wayana. Babe, what is a democracy?
Democracy means like what I understand. Based on what I understand, it's basically you don't have to listen to one person. That means like
Okay.
Like the crowdsource.
Very good, okay, that's a good word, crowdsource. Okay, all right. Hutu, what is a democracy?
Democracy is
Oh yeah.
suara terbanyak.
Okay, the voice of the people, right?
Yeah.
The voice of the people, okay, very good. All right, so this is my interpretation of democracy, right? Is Indonesia a democracy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, and then everyone looks down and away. I wonder why. Okay, so the idea of a democracy, it is decisions by majority rule. So whoever comes up and gets the majority vote, then that becomes the decision for everybody. One of the most popular democracies is like a presidential election. So whoever gets the most votes then essentially becomes the president. Okay, we're going to talk about how democracy affects Bukit Vista because I think sometimes some decisions are actually good to go democratic. Because essentially you're looking at crowdsourcing information and you're crowdsourcing the popular opinion. All right, let's go on further. The OKRs, once again. So, what I'm hoping to help achieve is I want squad leaders to achieve productive meetings and gain credibility through a democratic process. Now, the opposite of a democracy is what? Does anybody want to guess what that could be? No, what's the opposite of a democracy? Abusive, okay, all right.
Inclusive.
Impulsive.
Is it?
Impulsive, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Like not ego.
Dictator and king is the opposite of a democracy. That's where one person makes decisions for everybody, not everybody making decisions for themselves. Okay, great. So we don't want to have dictators here. We don't want to have people who are kind of, not really listening to their teams. So that's why we want to drive a democratic process to achieve credibility.
It's okay. It's like the leaders go like Singapore.
What do you think? We have a Singaporean here.
I really got Singapore, that's all, sorry.
There have been cases where dictatorships or sole governance has been very productive. Singapore is a case where you have one leader and they make decisions for everybody, right? Okay, we're going to talk about democracy right now. We're hoping this will help improve communication and also spread knowledge and also help teams become more decisive as well. I'm going to try to run 3 successful simulations of a democracy, and then we will hope to pass a new amendment on the SLA workflow. But unfortunately, it's risky here.
No input kantor pajak.
Oh, he's at the Kantor Pajak. All right. All right. Is Gigi here?
They both
They both went to the Kantor Pajak. All right. Good fun, right? All right. So that's going to interrupt the process a little bit because Gigi and Risky wanted to add a new amendment to the market building service level agreement. So they would kind of have to be here for that. But all right, I'll try to wing this. Okay, let's go into the format. So we're going to talk about how democratic decisions are made. Then we're going to go into the second part, which is Robert's Rules of Order. Has anybody ever heard of Robert's Rules of Order?
No.
Okay, Lee, have you heard of Robert's Rules of Order? Okay, so what happens if everybody talks at the same time? Chaotic, right? So this is kind of the process of democracy. If everybody's contributing and everybody's talking, then essentially you have a... Okay, Diva sneaking in. I see you, Diva. All right. So Robert's Rules of Order is a way to create structure and form in a democratic process. So we'll talk about that. We'll give it a practice, and then we'll look at some of the takeaways from the thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with defining our term. Democracy. It's a system of governance by which the whole population, or all eligible members of the state, participate in the government, typically through elected representatives. Now, when was the last time you exercised your democratic rights, Emil? Have you ever voted or participated in democracy before?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Many
great.
times. Last time was in the maybe a few days ago when we were deciding whether to eat yam or
Yes. Democratic. All right, very good, very good. Okay. That can be a democratic decision, right? What about Alvin? Have you ever participated in the democratic process?
Sure, of course.
All right. What's your example of participation in a democratic process?
Okay. And voting.
Voting.
Yes.
Have you ever voted for a government official before?
Sorry?
A government official before?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, these are all forms of democratic participation. It happens with things as simple as deciding where to eat to choosing your leaders. Okay, so, basically that's the idea. Everybody votes, everybody gets in their ideas. The first way I'm going to start this off is a simulation. So, here's a simulation, and we were going to practice this without the rules first, and then see if the rules are going to be helpful. Okay, where are we going to go for Formal Friday this Friday? Where? So this is the agenda. This is the thing that we're trying to decide, right? Democratically. Where are we going to go for Formal Friday this Friday?
Going after or
After Formal Friday this Friday.
Okay. Karaoke.
pizza.
Yang lain ikut berarti kalau nggak vote ya.
Yeah, ramen.
Why not both?
Bowling.
Bowling.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. How do we decide where to go now?
Pardon?
How do we decide where to go now?
Karaoke.
Vote.
Okay. How do we conduct a vote now?
Okay, vote guys. Karaoke. Food.
There will be somebody to ask all over.
Right. Okay.
Vote. Raise your hand. Somebody want a karaoke. Four.
Okay.
Raise your hand. You're gonna have pizza.
You okay, Jing?
I'm choosing four.
Well,
Five.
right.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that was a simulation, right? As you can see, it wasn't very structured. It wasn't very ordered. It was kind of like free. There was a bit of democracy, but we forgot some of the other things, like bowling, like all these other emotions, right? So, all right, let's try to do this. Let's try to do the simulation now, but with Robert's Rules of Order. Babe, you know kind of how this works, right?
What is that?
Okay, come on forward. I will have you be secretary. Okay. All right. So, oh wait. If we need a secretary, we need a board. Can I get some help moving that board over here, please? Thank you. Okay. So we're going to change up the system once again. So let me ask you, Gani, when we just did that, did you feel empowered or did you feel confused? Confused, yeah? A little bit weird. Okay. Let's bring the board right up behind me, over here. Thank you very much. Okay, how did you feel, Eggy, about that vote?
Yeah, it was really just like structure. So
Right. Okay, so that's what happens in a democracy where there's no structure, right? We kind of are trying to do it, but it doesn't feel strong, it feels kind of weak, it's sort of weird, and it doesn't get the idea across. So what I'm going to try to do is, I'm going to try to run a simulation here, and I'm going to appoint a few roles first, right? So, I don't know if Milne can see this. I'm writing on a whiteboard right now. I'll flip this over. Hey, babe.
Yes.
Babe, can I have you be my volunteer?
Yes.
All right, great. So I need you to get me a pen. Can somebody get one a pen? Okay, all right. Get a board marker. Okay.
Got it myself.
So the very first thing we're going to do now is we have the topic that we're going to discuss right here, but we don't have any roles.
This is a permanent.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get another permanent. All right. Let's find two roles. Right. Board marker. Okay. All right. First, we're going to have a chairperson.
Chairperson.
Okay. And the second person we're going to have is the secretary. Okay, so let's appoint a chairperson. So, how do we appoint a chairperson?
Ask for volunteer.
We can ask for volunteers, but the other way you can do it is you can ask for a nomination.
Nomination.
All right, so I'll just start it off. Does anybody want to nominate a chairperson for this workshop?
I nominate Diba.
Diba, okay, Diba is now nominated for chairperson. Diba, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination.
All right, we have a chairperson. Okay, all right, great. I'll do the chairperson first because I'll know what to do. So, can somebody nominate me to be chairperson?
I nominate
All right, I accept your nomination, and let's put it to a vote. All in favor of Jing being the chairperson of this decision, please raise your hand. Okay, okay, all right. So how many people do? Who's not voting? Who's not voting? Okay. So basically, I got the majority vote. So now I'm chairperson. So I now nominate a secretary. I'll nominate Wan to be the secretary. Wan, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I accept.
All right, let's put it to a vote. All in favor of Wan being the secretary, please raise your hand. All right. So we have a chairperson. We have a secretary now. I am the chairperson. Wan is my secretary. Now, Wan, do you know what a secretary does?
Write down.
Right, so you hold the pen. So basically, the secretary is going to record all the decisions and all the things that we're going to do. Okay, now, as the chairperson, I would like to formally start this meeting. Can I get a yay or nay? So,
Yay.
Yay! All right, so we started the meeting now. All right, the next point is, all right, the agenda of this meeting is to discuss what we will do for Formal Friday. Can that be agreed upon by everybody? Just a yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay! Okay, so we agreed that we're all going to discuss about this, and everyone's participating now.
Yeah.
All right, so I need somebody to come up with a motion on proposals of what we need to do. Does anybody want to create a motion? Yes, Emil, what is your motion?
Pizza by the beach.
Pizza by the beach. Secretary, please record Pizza by the beach as the first motion. Do I have a second on that motion? Okay, it is second. Okay, seconded by Adele. So Adele has been seconded. Please write. Emil is the first person to move on the idea. So Emil is up there. No. You ready to break Emil? Seconded S by Adele. So then we see who is supporting each one. Now the second is basically just a person who supports the idea, so the idea can be discussed. Okay, that's all it is. It's not a vote. It's just that we will discuss this idea. If you create a motion where nobody says that's a good idea, nobody seconds you, then your motion is thrown away. Okay, all right, great. Do I have another motion for an idea for where we'll go after on Formal Friday? Any other ideas? Any other ideas? Come on, there was a lot of ideas before.
Support them.
Okay, Ara would like to make a motion. Is there a Coachella concert in Nusa Dua?
No, let's make
Okay, let's pretend this is a simulation. Okay. All right. The motion is a Coachella concert in Nusa Dua. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? D1 seconds the motion. Okay. Okay. So Ara is the motioner, and it has been seconded by D1, so it goes up on the board. All right. Do we have any other people making motions? Yes, Eggy.
Idea, right?
Yeah, idea.
The karaoke night.
Karaoke. Very good. Okay. Third motion on the table is karaoke. Karaoke has been proposed by Eggy. Does anybody want to second this motion? All right, seconded by Chris. Okay, so Eggy and seconded by Chris. Any other motions on the table right now? Anybody else want to make a motion?
Can somebody throw two motion?
Yes, you can throw another motion if you want.
Barbecue night.
Barbecue night. Okay, your first motion is going to compete with your second motion now if you have two motions. So do keep that in mind.
It's okay. Let's.
Okay, barbecue night. Okay, barbecue night has been moved by Emil. Do we have a second on that idea? Do we have a second? Going once, twice, third. Okay, barbecue night will not go on the board now because it has not been seconded. So therefore, we're back to 3 motions again. All right, anybody want to make another motion? Okay, the time for making motions is now closed. Okay, please step forward if you're Emil. Pizza by the Beach. Emil, you will have 1 minute to explain to the assembly what you want to do about Pizza by the Beach. Go ahead.
Okay. So this will be held on JWB restaurant, which we never been there before, and it's a really fancy and beautiful place where you can see the lights from candle by the Jing beach. So yeah, it's really tasty pizza with the warm ambience. So I guess we're gonna love it to spend the time at pizza together.
Okay, thank you very much, Emil, for making the motion. All right, let's go to the second person. Coachella. Coachella was moved by Ara. Ara, please give us your explanation why we should do Coachella.
Oh no, I thought it was like.
No, please give your explanation.
Yeah.
Just pretend. Yes.
Okay, so it was like concert,
Mhm.
concert for these. Is it like exactly like Coachella? Like we can invite some bands, or maybe just one that you guys our favorite like Coldplay. So it's like bonfire and concert and just.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Ara, for giving an explanation of your motion. Third one, karaoke by. I can't read this. Eggy. The secretary has been fired. Okay, Eggy, please tell us about karaoke.
Yes, so I think we can go to like a karaoke studio.
Uh-huh.
Actually, make it like a singing competition kind of.
Ooh, it's singing
games.
competition.
And they like actually win like high score.
Okay.
Like take out for dinner or whatever.
All right, great. So karaoke singing competition, highest score. All right. So now, I as the chair will move this to a vote, and please cast only one vote. Everyone, please vote. Do not vote. Okay. So everyone gets one vote on what they want to do, and we will start with the first motion first. The secretary needs to move over to the side so that people can see the motions. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So the first motion the first idea will go onto the table for voting now. All in favor of the first motion, please raise your hand. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 votes for Pizza by the Beach. Go ahead and put that up. All right, Concert Coachella, motion number 2, put it into a vote. Does anybody want to vote? Okay, voting starts now. 1, wait, you voted twice. Yeah, you can only vote once. You can only vote once. 1, 2. Okay, 2 votes, yeah? Are you going to vote for your own motion?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
3. Okay, third motion, karaoke by the beach. Or karaoke. Studio. Okay, does anybody want to vote for that? Voting? You guys voted already, right? Have you voted already? Okay, all right. Wow. 1 vote. Any other votes for karaoke? So you voted for somebody else's motion?
Yes. I don't think my idea will actually.
Okay, so that pretty much concludes it. The votes are 8 votes for Pizza by the Beach, started by Emil, seconded by Adele, and that obviously wins the vote. Okay? And so that's what we're going to do. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you run a democratic-driven decision. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, of course, this was a simulation, so let's learn how to do it better. Robert's Rules of Order. As you can see from the difference between the first time we did the democratic thing to the second, got better. But as we actually get more familiar with the rules, it should go much faster and much more agile and stuff as well. All right, what is Robert's Rules of Order? It's a framework of rules for running a democratic meeting. It helps us to get productive, decision-driven results. Now, sometimes what happens is that everybody sits there and goes, I don't know either. And we just get stuck. We don't make a decision, right? And that's usually the worst thing you can do, not getting a decision. Now, as a squad leader, as a member, you can say, all right, if nobody can decide, why don't we just make it a democratic vote and see what we're going to do? So this can be suggested, and this is a way of conducting that. It stops chaos and confusion. If there's no leadership, there's no anything, that everyone just sits around and goes, I don't know. So this stops the chaos from getting too excited about everything and everyone talking at the same time. and also it promotes justice because everybody's voices have been heard. Everybody got to speak about their ideas, and the majority got to vote. It produces courtesy so that everyone feels like, okay, this process is working well, we're giving mutual respect, and also equality. And it improves communication and understanding. Why does this improve communication and understanding? Emil?
Is this improve?
Yeah. Why does this process improve communication and understanding?
Because you're not just talking, but we're also listening.
Yes, exactly. It creates a dialogue. And it creates one frame for each subject that we're going to talk about, and creates focus. All right. Right, so where is this being used? This is being used pretty much at all high levels of governance and business, right? I went to my first board meeting, and they use this. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, well, how are they making decisions? So the company is going, and they're going through decision point by decision point, and all the board members are sitting there, and they're giving votes, and it's remarkably efficient. In about 2-3 hours, they make decisions for the entire year, for the entire company. Big companies like Indofood, big companies like whatever, they use this way of, I don't know if Indofood uses it, but most boards will use this. It's used by Congress, corporate boards, school boards, homeowners association. I saw this once in Malaysia, in Penang, in a building. The association was trying to figure out what rules and what to put their budget for all the land, all the apartment owners. Professional associations, and we also use it here at Bukit Vista. Okay. All right. So here's how it works, right? Somebody must facilitate the meeting. You cannot have democracy with everybody not knowing who's leading the conversation. So the assembly, which is everybody, must appoint a chairperson, somebody who's going to lead the meeting. Everyone has the right to speak and bring up ideas. There are nobody who is like ostracized, right? There can't be no, you guys can't talk because you're whatever, right? So everybody can talk, everybody can participate. Everybody has the right to vote, and the majority wins. Most of Bukit Vista cases, we want to get consensus. We want 100%. We don't want some people to go, nah, and some people to go, yay. We generally work towards consensus. But in every democracy, sometimes, like a national vote for a president, it's hard to get consensus. So some form of rule has to be used, and it's majority rules. All right. Does that make sense? So you live in a democracy. Use your right to vote. Okay. All right, so these are essentially the rules, right? So the chair, what does the chair do? The chair keeps the order in the room. So if things are getting disorderly and too many people are talking at the same time, it is the chair's responsibility to keep things under control, right? If the chair isn't doing a good job, then vote the chair out, put somebody else in who can keep order in the room, right? That's also something the assembly can do. Because the chair is actually the servant of the assembly and not the other way around. This is not a king and his court, this is a chairperson. So the chairperson is serving the assembly by keeping the order, by letting people speak, and keeping the rotation going, right? The chair will start the meeting, the chair will announce the business, they will expedite the business by moving the business forward, they will recognize members to speak, one person at a time. They also stop nonsense. If somebody starts going up and says blah, 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 that is not relevant to this meeting. Stop talking. Your turn is over, right? So you gotta weed away people who are just kind of taking up space and time. State and put all issues to a vote, like what we did here, and then end the meeting so that we all know when we can go home, right? Which is also kind of nice. All right, the secretary. What does the secretary do? The secretary keeps the records of the meeting and follows up. So after this has been done, the secretary will follow up and say, all right, are we actually going to do this? Has the reservations been made? And make sure that this business actually gets done. And the members. If you're part of the members, members make motions and recommendations. So as part of the assembly, you guys come up with the ideas. Participate in committees and debates. Prepare for the meetings. Sub-discussions need to happen offline. If you guys want to debate something, don't debate it in the main hall. The main hall is just simply a place to get your ideas across for vote, right? So if you have a committee and you're saying content wants to request a budget, and you don't have a number for that budget yet, you need to have a discussion beforehand and then bring it to the main assembly. If finance wants to add a new term to the market building service level, then they need to come up with what that term is beforehand, not come here, debate that back and forth, and not know. That adds confusion, and that's not very effective or efficient. Okay? And debates can happen online here if they are between the issues, but within each issue, please settle your debates beforehand so you don't come here and confuse people. All right, so this is always my favorite. Meeting etiquette. How can we do this? When you're talking, stand up. Because if you sit down and you talk, nobody will believe you. All right? If you're sitting and talking, everyone's like, oh, what are you doing? Right? Is that person talking over there? So stand up when you're talking. Be quiet when other people are speaking, right? Because we all want to listen to the person who's talking. Don't text or use cell phones or laptops during the meeting, because that can be distracting. When giving a speech, state your name and your position. Not everyone knows who you are. Not everyone knows what you do, right? So, for example, Eggy says, hi, I'm Eggy. I'm part of the market building squad in Squad 1. This is my motion, right? That makes it clear who you are and what you're introducing, and it gives some context around your motion, too, as well. Members may not speak until all those spoken the first time have been spoken. Yeah, so don't speak twice in a row. I guess that's what that is. So let everyone else get a chance to speak before you speak again. And, that one I don't really agree with. Speak twice a single motion, so we'll skip that. And the chair does not participate in the debate. Right. So if you're chairperson, you already have too much control of the room, so you cannot participate in a debate because that influences how the debate will end up. A chairperson, once again, is a servant of the assembly, so they do not actually participate in the debates themselves. All right, when you make a motion, it must contain a who, what, and when, right? And only what, one person, one motion at a time. All right, so what are you motioning, right? I am motioning pizza by the beach this Friday at whatever o'clock, right? So that gives a context for when it will be done. It's kind of like an OKR. So if we don't put any timing to the motion, then when should we actually do this, right? So it becomes a little bit vague. Okay, only one motion considered at a time. So we talk about one motion together. That motion goes up on the board. And the correct way to say that is I, Jing, move that. We should do motions correctly, right? So it's I move that, not I motion. Even though I always say I motion. So that's my mistake. And the second. So someone says second, I second the motion. So let's say Ara said something, that thing about Coachella. I would say, Ara, Air Support and Squad 3, I move that we should have a Coachella concert in Nusa and then somebody who's second says, I, Chris, second that motion. So that way it's clear who is participating and such. And the second, once again, is just implying that you agree that is a discussion topic. You're saying that, okay, we should have a topic to discuss, so that way we don't get frivolous motions up on the board and talk about things that nobody's really interested in. And we cannot discuss a motion if there is no second. If there's no person who supports the motion, then it is probably not going to win a debate anyways, right? So that's that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. After the second, so the chair has to restate the motion has been moved and seconded that we blah, 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 blah. I did all the things at the end because I think it's more efficient. You can do it like one by one. You can go with one idea, vote for it. But then the problem is you don't see all the ideas, right? So I prefer to doing all the ideas first and then voting it at the end. And then everyone can debate. We didn't really have a debate here because I guess this is something that we're not very passionate about yet, right? But that is a space that we should allow for, to allow for debate to happen. No, I think you're wrong, actually. I think we should do this. And these are the reasons why. Okay. Here. This was a simulation I kind of wanted to do, but maybe because Risky and Gigi aren't here, this is a little bit harder to do now. But I will create a new topic. Let's go ahead and try this all over again, and we will bring about democracy in the most raw way. So let's start the meeting again. Okay, just to skip time, can I appoint myself as chair? Okay, wait, let me start correctly, right? So we have the assembly together. I, Jing, CEO of Bukit Vista, move that I become chair of the next meeting.
I will second that.
I will second that. Okay, great. Let's put it to the vote. All in favor, say yay. Yay. Okay, so this is called a voice vote, right? This is a fast vote. If you hear a lot, all opposed, say nay. Okay, so yays have it. That's a quick way of doing a democratic vote, so you don't have to count and tally everybody. Just go by a voice vote. If the voices for the yay say louder, then it's probably in favor. Got it? Okay, all right. So I'm chair. So I nominate Wyatt to be my secretary. No, wait, I don't want to nominate somebody else. I nominate Chris to be the secretary. I, Jing, CEO of Bukit Vista, nominate Chris to be my secretary for the next meeting. Chris, do you accept the nomination? Okay, and do we have a second?
I second.
Wayana.
Second motion.
Okay, second the motion. All right, all in favor of Chris leading as secretary of the meeting, please say yay. Yay. All opposed, say nay. Okay, all right, so Chris and Jing are now chair and secretary of the meeting. Please, Chris, step up here. All right. All right, let's see, what are some issues that we need to talk about? Let's make this fun. Okay, so I, Jing, motion that we have a dress code at Bukit Vista. Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, Deba seconds it. Okay, I, Deba, second. Okay, all right. So the first topic is dress code. Does anybody else want to make some motions? The chair recognizes Wayana. Go ahead. Please, speak.
I third motion.
You cannot third a motion.
What?
You cannot third a motion.
Second motion.
Second motion means that the motion goes up and will be discussed, right? There is no third.
Okay, if I am the third, then what I do?
You just wait to vote if you're the third, okay? All right, does anybody else want to make a motion? Okay, I'll make another motion just for fun. I, Jing, CEO of Bukit Vista, motion that we had a regular improved lunch menu at Bukit Vista. Do I have a second? Okay, Eggy, stand up.
I'm part of market building team squad 1. I second that.
All right, great. And the chair recognizes that Eggy has seconded this motion for regular improved lunch menus. All right, any other motions? Come on, guys, having fun. All right, Emil.
Emil from content team.
Yes.
Move the what?
Doing it right. Okay. You're doing it right. Yeah, we've done it wrong this whole time. Yeah, go ahead.
Emil from content team move that one of this room has an air conditioner.
I remember I second the motion. Belum ditanyain.
All right, great, right? All right, any other motions? So the motion has been proposed by Emil and seconded by Deba. Okay, any other motions? Would you like to make a motion? As co-founder of Bukit Vista. Or how about Namli? Namli, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I believe from market builder would like would move. What was that again? Sorry. Correct way of doing this, sorry. Yes, so sorry. I believe market builder move that we have 5 days off in a month.
6 days of days off, yeah? From 5 to 6.
Yeah, was it 5 or one more day, basically.
Okay, all right, does anyone second the motion?
I Adele from host. I second that motion.
Okay, the motion has been seconded and it will go up on the board.
Yeah,
All right,
okay.
Dominic, do you have any motions that you would like to propose?
Somebody wants to second the motion.
Dominic, go ahead. Make a fun motion. Make something, yeah.
Okay, I nominate most move that we need to stop eating in the room.
Stop eating Indomie.
Wow, maaf ya dong ini dia.
Susah.
Maaf, second.
Okay. All right. Quiet. No chaos. Right?
Example.
All right. So, Dominic has proposed that nobody will eat Indomie in a Bukit Vista base. Is that the motion? Yes. Okay. Do I have a second on that motion? Going once, twice, third. Dominic, sorry. Your motion has not been seconded, so the motion will not be voted on. Rafik, do you have any motions, Rafik? Rafik, do you have any motions that you'd like to make? Okay, Rafik, your time.
I need 2 person night shift instead one.
Oh, okay. Rafik makes a motion to have 2 people on night shift instead of 1. Do we have a second on that motion? Please stand up if you second it. Okay.
I'm open from more than support. It's not one. I second. Yeah.
Okay, Alvin seconds the motion. Okay, 2 people as night shift. So started by Rafik and seconded by Alvin. All right, great. Okay, I think that's enough issues. That's quite a lot, actually. All right. So as chairperson, I have decided that this is sufficient number of motions on the table in order to have a vote right now. So let's go down from the top. Okay, wait. I actually cannot propose a motion, I realize, because I'm the chair. So the first motion needs to go off. I just started that as practice. Let's pretend I'm not chair anymore. Okay, so I'm back in the assembly. I'm not chair anymore, right? All right. And I'll just kind of come up with something, right? Who's chair now? Who's chair now? Why don't we pretend to be chair? Okay, let's see if she knows how to do her job. All right, so I'll stand before her. I think we should have a dress code because, it simplifies life. It's too hard to think about what you put on every day. So you should just have a Bukit Vista t-shirt and some jeans, and that's all you should wear to work. And that makes life easy. All right, so now
Anyone votes that?
okay, now the chair. Okay, no, back to the chair. Okay, now as chair. Okay, thank you, Jing, for putting out. Thank you, Jing, for putting out that motion. Is there anybody who would like to debate that? Offering a counterpoint to that idea.
I do
Emil
understand
would
that.
like to debate the thing. I recognize Emil as chair. Please go ahead. You have
I
a
don't
minute.
really agree with the dress code because we have our specific color test and maybe style so that we can just let everyone express their own taste of.
Very good, Emil. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No. It's
Okay,
not
very good.
really.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to debate this motion? Okay, if there's no other debates, then we'll put the motion to a vote. Please vote only once per motion, right? All in favor of a dress code, please raise your hand. All not in favor of the dress code, please raise your hand. All who did not vote, please raise your hand. No, okay. All right, so let's do the vote. All in favor of the dress code, please raise your hand. Please put a yay and nay. So Y and okay, yay and nay. Okay, so all in favor, 0. All against? Okay, let's count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then from the world, Dominic is gone. Lily is looking off into the windows. And Rodney. So there's 9 votes. Okay, do you guys want to vote on this? Okay, you guys will have a vote.
Where is the vote?
Okay.
So no.
No, okay,
There's
vote.
votes.
Lily voting against. Dominic voting against. Okay, Rafik voting against. And Dominic just saying yes. Okay. Dominic against. Okay. So pretty much this has been unanimously taken off. There is no dress code. So decision has been made on the dress code. Yay. Okay. All right. Regularly improved lunch menu. Oh, once again, by Jing. Okay. All right. Jing's back in assembly. I think we have a regularly improved lunch menu because I think it's we buy the same ingredients every day, so the cost is the same, but we can actually cook it better. I think the way to do that is that everybody participates in cooking once a week so that you guys will add your culinary flair into the lunch menu, right? So, okay. Okay, Jing, thank you very much for your contributions. Now let's move to the next person. Does anybody else have anything else to say? Emil, yes, go ahead.
I do agree
Sure,
with the
recognizes Emil.
Yeah, I am from Scotland. I do agree with the motion since mostly we just eat chicken and sometimes egg. So basically, maybe doing pasta or the cuisines from our hometown will be a great idea.
I think that's a great. Okay, chair does not endorse anything, right? Chair's neutral. All right. So thank you, Emil, for your thoughts. Does anybody else want to contribute to this debate? Okay. All right. Debate is closed now. We will put it to a vote. Regularly improved lunch menu. Does anybody say for the yays? Okay. How many people are in favor of the new idea? It's pretty much unanimous. Okay. Voting. You guys online also vote, right? So we can do the count. All right. Oh, I don't vote because I'm chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put your hand up so we can see it. 7, Graphic is confused. Melanie doesn't want regular lunch money. Okay, all right, okay. So that's 6 in favor. Is it 6 or 6 in favor?
7.
7 in favor. Okay, all against the regular lunch menu, please raise your hand. All against?
All against.
All against improving the lunch menu, please raise your hand.
1 from English, 2
1
from
from the. Okay,
3
2.
Ara.
Okay, all right. 3. Okay, 3. Now, this is an interesting case. So you guys actually voted against, but nobody represented the counter position, right? So if you really feel strongly about it and you want your vote to pass, then represent your position. Otherwise, when it comes to a vote, then nobody will know what you felt, right? So, okay, all right. So regularly improved lunch menu passes. It passes, and this will be a new Bukit Vista thing that we do here. All right, next vote. One of the Bukit Vista headquarters room has aircon. So, go ahead and state your intent. Does anybody want to push this motion forward?
Pardon?
The
third one?
Yeah, the third one.
You mean voting for that?
No, not voting. This is the debate time. This is the time to debate and say, like, what do you think about this? And so on
Does
and so forth.
secretary have a voice or
The what?
do secretary have the voice to?
Usually not. Usually not. If you're doing administration, then you cannot vote because then you are contaminating the situation, right? If you're a position of authority. All right. Does anybody want to speak for or against this motion? Emil, chair recognizes Emil. Go ahead.
Wait, but you are.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. The person who started the motion can push their point. That's
Okay.
perfectly okay. Somebody should, right? Go ahead.
Oh, because we have a lot of interview and appear things in here, and the fan is really, really loud. And the fan is really loud that it's most of the time mengganggu the video call or something.
Oh, I see. Okay.
First, and may I say the second?
Yes,
Second
absolutely.
point is, but it's sometimes it's really, really hot, like incredibly hot, so that I myself experience that I can't working comfortably. So I usually just move back to my place doing the AC thing because it makes me more comfortable and more productive in doing work.
Okay. All right. Great. Does anybody else want to debate or support this point? Okay.
Yes.
Jing is assemblyman. Okay, so I'm going to start the debate. I think that if we have aircon here, it actually will create a lot of wasted energy because the doors are always open and it will just spill out and it won't be effective. And plus, it starts creating closed door concepts, and then we, want to be a more transparent organization. So I don't support the use of aircon, but I will support better cooling tools or whatever that could be. And I motion that we start looking for more effective cooling devices that are quieter. Okay, so chair. This is. Do I have a second? Wait a second. Does anybody want to second my motion? You agree. Okay, so Denny seconds the motion. All right, so this is now an amendment on an existing motion, right? So the motion has been created, and this is kind of like a sub-motion. Okay, so now. Okay, Jing, thank you very much for your motion and sub-motion. The sub-motion has been recognized by the secretary for amending, and instead of air conditioning, we can probably put a other cooling device. Does anybody else would like to contribute to this debate? Yes, the chair recognizes Ara. Ara, please stand and state your name. Elvis, you can sit after because you have that toe thing.
Okay, my name, I'm Ara from Online Support Board. So I am second motion for Emil's statement that partly I agree that it will make you want to prevent the closed doors, but then we can actually make the AC space so that we do have to doors and then make everything.
Okay, let's talk about conflict in that equation.
Okay, wait. Chair does not recognize Lana for speaking. Please, are you finished? Are you finished talking?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, so now we have a third. Okay, this is a remotion now to cool the entire space under AC of the entire building. So, does anybody want to second that? So the motion is to put AC on an entire space.
Alright, against that.
Oh, wait, no. You don't need to go against it because if there's no second, then it will just naturally go away, right? Okay. All right. And if you're against it, then participate in the debate. during the time that it is called to debate on. Right? Okay. The motion has not been seconded, so therefore it will not go on the board, and it dies. Okay. Sorry, Aura. Okay. All right.
Sorry, question.
Yes, sir.
So we already amended this motion into a new motion.
Right. So we'll vote on that,
but-
and then we'll vote on this.
Oh, so we don't vote on both?
Or we can vote. Actually, this is new for me too. I don't know. I would say I just don't know.
No, because this before we decide who second this motion,
Right.
we already have another motion that
Oh, it came out of that, right?
Yeah.
So the amendment
So
on the
how
amendment.
about this one? We haven't.
I guess what we can do is we can vote on the main motion and then on the amendments, right? So we put one vote to each person, and would you like to vote for this, or the third amendment? But our amendment was never attached because there was no second. So we're just going to be voting between this one and this one. Make sense? We're going to be voting on aircon in one of the rooms, or a new cooling tool instead of AC. So that will be the vote. All right.
Oh, I see.
Okay. All right. So let's go on. Let's demonstrate this. So we're going to put the third motion to a vote. One of BBHQ room has aircon. All right. Does it? You had some things to say against this, so please step forward if you want to debate.
Because Wayana from squad 4, I think it's at the moment the room is not ready for the aircon because it's leaking everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's talk against it. All right. So now let's put it to the. Oh, you gotta go, Ara. No worries. No worries. Okay, Ara. Okay. Ara's about to go back to Georgia. Let's wish Ara a happy flight back. Bye. Okay, we'll clear this out of your way so you don't stub your toe on the way.
Semoga bisa
All right.
sepotos.
Kamu udah order? Aku juga tempat yang ngambil bagasi. Oh gitu, siap.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Emil's also leaving, so now there's no supporter for this motion. Emil's also leaving, so there's nobody supporting this motion now. All right. So let's go.
Bapasu.
Babasu.
Oh, Ara's gone.
Going to do that?
Ara's
Yes.
gone. Yes.
Okay, yes, please.
Okay. Anyway, let's put it to a vote. All right. All in favor of putting one room with aircon, please raise your hand. Okay, we got one vote.
Two.
Two. Okay, two. Okay, two. Three. Three votes in favor. Okay, all against, please raise your hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh wait, I can't vote because I'm chair.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. My vote is disqualified. Please count the votes.
Against.
Okay, great. 6. Okay, so this proposal has been canceled, and now let's go to the next proposal. The next proposal is that we install a new cooling device in the rooms to keep the rooms cooler, and we will debate about what that can be later. But all in favor of this new idea, this new motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2. All against, please raise your hands. 0. Okay, so the motion passes, right? And some people are confused, I guess. All right, so what happened
Yes,
was
I'm confused.
we had a first motion saying that this motion was first started by Emil. The motion was that we put AC in one of the rooms. Then a new motion was made that we don't use AC, but we find another cooling device. Maybe a fan that's quieter, maybe something else, right? So that was the idea. So that was the second. I understand if you guys are not here, it's hard to see the board because the board is right here. But this is essentially where the motions are being born. Maybe we should have a digital secretary, and it goes onto a digital board in the future. All right, very good. One more day off. All right, is this a good democratic decision?
Yeah.
Because it will obviously win. But okay. All right. So sometimes democracy is actually useful, sometimes it's not, right? So in the case of a company, I really like this idea. this idea is something that everybody who is an employee would love, and anybody who is an owner would probably not love so much, right? So generally speaking, in a company, in a business, we don't have democracy because there are rules that are, I would say, they're like in a game theory, right? They're vetoed, yeah. So I will veto this because there's no control that we have on it. Everybody would obviously say yes. There's no implications for saying no, right? But just out of curiosity, let's go ahead and put this to a vote. Does anybody want to debate this idea? Either for or against the idea of having one. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Okay,
Denny, please. The chair recognizes Denny.
My
Denny,
name
please
is
stand.
Denny. I'm from Host and Working in Squad 1. So instead of having one more day off,
Community service.
Oh, so Denny's saying that instead of having another 1 day off per month, people accumulate.
Yeah, people can accumulate.
They'll accumulate data, kan?
Yeah,
So
data.
people have
A rest
budget.
Okay.
Budget of
okay,
day
right.
off like for
Total number of PTOs.
Yeah.
Like
So-
quarter budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the others like company that I know, they have like a 12 year, right?
Right.
That much.
So you have total number of days off.
Yeah,
Total
12
number of
days.
days off.
That you can these other our regular day off like per month is 5. So we do have like additional day off. It's for like 12 total per year.
Okay, got it. So this is a new proposal now, right? So this is essentially Denny's new proposal. And instead of adding one more day off, Denny is proposing that there be a 12-day budget attached to everybody's work contract where they can use whatever they want, right? Okay, all right. So do I have a second on the motion? Eggy seconds the motion.
I second that.
Okay.
Can I
all right.
second that?
Yes, no Lee, please formally
I
say.
second. So Nolly from Bukit Vista, Martin Building seconds that motion.
Okay, all right, Nolly seconds the motion. Now, okay, so this thing goes over here. She seconded the first motion too.
Tapi mau
Yeah.
masih
Move the first motion.
apa Om?
Okay.
Because the first has been vetoed, so I've got no choice.
Okay.
Om?
Okay.
Rapid
As you can see,
agree.
okay. I'll go ahead and cut the simulation right now because this can go on all day, as you can see, right? So this is basically how you drive a democratically driven meeting. You come up with ideas, you attach new ideas when somebody does it, and you vote all on these ideas. And this allows everybody to participate. This allows everybody's voices to be heard, and this allows the evolution also to happen as well. You can also see if nobody defends an idea, then the idea probably won't win during the vote because you have not persuaded anybody in the room that your idea has merit. So part of what is not really part of regular culture here is debate, and that's why we have step on toes. I think debate is good. I think if you're passionate about your idea, then you should be able to persuade other people about the idea, and you should be able to persuade somebody who disagrees with you to start agreeing with you as well. I think it's a healthy process, and it allows the best information to flow forward. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We kind of run out of time right now. I've already used up an hour to do this democratic principles. That's pretty much it. What I hope to see is that later on, when we amend big things like SLAs and things, we put it to a vote, we put it in front of the assembly, and everyone votes, should we add like a new process to the content chapter for onboarding new clients, right? New property partners. Everybody else might say, yes, that's a great idea, but then we put it to content to then debate their point as well, right? We're going to need to decide which decisions in this company can be made democratically and which probably should not be made democratically because it just doesn't make sense, okay? All right, so that's the end of my workshop. Takeaways, let's go to the last page. Did anyone have any good takeaways on this? Okay, so now I've ended the meeting. I dismiss myself from chair. I dismiss Chris from chair, and we go back into the workshop now. All right. So we're in the workshop again. I'm switching roles. Yes. Okay. All right. The chairman. No. The chairman is gone now. All right. Chris, what's your question?
Okay, so I'm actually considering about the vote.
Yeah.
So as what I understand that whatever motions that we have here, like let's say for example we have 5 motions and we have 15 people in the room.
Yeah.
The total number of votes should not exceed 15 because one person can only vote once, right?
No. On each
Is it
motion,
correct?
it's fine. On each motion, it's fine, right? If they're opposing motions, then we need to get it down to one motion and then vote on that. Like this could be an opposing motion case, right? Because dress code is a separate issue from improved lunch. Improved lunch is a separate issue from the room. I know in the beginning I said there should be only one, so that way there's a balance. But we kept on adding more motions, so then people won't be able to really express their things. It's okay. The idea of conserving votes is where you have to really be serious about what you want to vote on, right? But in this particular case, I think it should be majority wins on each particular subject because they're not related to each other, and they're not. But if it's something to do with budget, right? We have only enough budget to do X or Y, not both. Then there cannot be essentially people who vote both, because then that would be an incorrect use of budget, right? You either say we have $10,000 and we're going to use it on digital marketing, or have $10,000 and we're going to use it to buy photography equipment. You cannot get both, because then both would exceed the budget. Okay, but otherwise I think we can vote once on each subject because they are essentially different, and there's no reason they should be exclusive. Great takeaway, great question. Any other questions from the assembly? Now regular audience. All right, let's see takeaways. Adele, what was your takeaway from this?
I'm sorry, I little bit lost.
What is your takeaway from this workshop?
Oh, that democracy is very important, so we can listening to others' opinion also.
Very good.
Very good.
So we can see what everyone actually thinks, because sometimes when one person talks, nobody can hear what everyone else says, right?
So everyone can speak.
So everyone can speak. Great. Alvin, what was your takeaway from this? Alvin, what was your takeaway from this workshop?
For me, it's more like structural for us to make a decision. But I think we have to get strict about the voting system and the other stuff.
Yes, we definitely need to refine the system to get it to be more perfect. I think, yeah, so that there's less confusion. All right, Nandini, what is your takeaway from this workshop?
So I think this takeaway does help to increase the visibility and allows people to voice out and encourages that sort of culture within Bukit Vista.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, Rafik, what was your takeaway? Rafik, do you guys do this in your band jar? Rafik, you're muted.
What?
Do you guys ever do this in your band jar meetings?
Yeah, this is like voting.
Yeah. Is it the same or is it a bit different?
Yes, it's the same.
Oh, it's the same. Okay, great. So there's already like Robert's Rules of Order here in Bali. That's awesome. Okay, great.
Yeah, I agree because this everyone can speak now.
Yes, excellent. Okay.
It's not only agree, don't like that. You understand?
I understand. Dominic, what was your takeaway?
So this will show me how to speak up our point. Yeah.
Yep. Great. All right. Listen, guys. Listen. Democracy is not it's something people died for, right? A lot of people had to give up their lives in order to make democratic principles more popular in this world. So if you live in a democracy, if you have democracy, please take advantage of that. Please don't just be like, oh, whatever, who cares? If you're not happy here, or if you want something done your way, you have a voice. So use that voice. Be part of the process instead of being part of the problem. Okay, all right, so that's it. That's the Democratic Guide to Making Decisions. Hopefully this is helpful in squad meetings as an alternative to not making a decision. And hopefully you guys can start making it part of your daily lives, even with your friends. Be like, oh, okay, we're going to have a Robert's Rules of Order. Okay, that's the end of the workshop. Thank you very much for attending, and I'll see you all at lunch. Okay, bye everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.